I just heard that they discontinued the Choco Taco.
Choco Taco.
Oh, the ice cream.
The ice cream thing. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, the taco? Yeah, I saw that.
Klondike just discontinued it. Why would they do that? I haven't had one in like
It's
20
not
years, but
a
now
taco.
I want one.
It's like a
It's like a waffle cone.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking taco.
Fold it up like a taco.
I saw this lady. She fried a taco shell in cake batter, and then she put ice cream in it.
That's cool. All right,
That looks great.
Victor. We're gonna talk about Victor's. Let's take it.
Is this a good angle for you?
I'm already shaking.
You're already shaking.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not gonna fall. Trust me.
Cool.
Okay. All right. You can't talk yet. You got
Alright, perfect.
All right.
Okay, guys, so.
No, you can't talk yet. You're like, all right, I won't. You know, so here's the. Let's talk about it. What do we think here?
I like the style of the clothes.
Yeah. Very much looks like an ode. You know.
I probably asked him this, but I've already forgotten which object it is that he's supposed to be making extraordinary.
That's a good question, actually.
Maybe it's the painting and it becoming a sculpture, I guess.
Maybe it's the
Or
maybe
your
that's it.
interaction, I guess.
He made
Or
the sculpture before he did the painting.
Wait, but that was
does that
always the
matter?
plan. It was always the plan to make it. Well, I know for a fact that this is designed. You know, these at Home Depot, and they're made to just make a simple table out of it. Not even a table that you would like see the wood grain. You would cover it up with a cloth or something. You know, it's like
really?
would be like a total, like, you know, side table that you might find at a thrift store or something, right? So maybe that's the object, the round thing.
I thought those were used to make stools.
That's a big person that needs that stool.
No. It's like a big stool with little short legs, so like 3 people can sit on it at once. You know, like,
Yeah, I guess.
like
It's
a
a
group
communal
stool.
Aw,
Group
look.
stool.
Your stool.
Awkward.
That'd be
Group
cute.
stool. It's a little too small for a group stool. That'd be a very close group.
Yeah. 3 people. Close group.
Make it.
It's actually about the promotion of skin shape.
Maybe
So one of the things you should know is that it's polymer clay, and that most of the flowers are also polymer clay, correct? Yeah.
Did you also make the little hummingbirds?
Yes.
those are beautiful.
Yeah. You did all this pretty fast, and that's pretty impressive because it, to bite off not only a sculpture, but B, then to paint it is kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to say that at the beginning so that you wouldn't get in your head about it, but that's kind of a lot. So, yeah. Other comments. So we all know it's Frida Kahlo, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Oh, the earrings are actually real earrings.
Yeah, he made them.
Oh, well, you made them. Well, they're still real earrings.
Yeah.
Still real to me.
Yep.
They're real.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could sell them if you're like.
Absolutely, you could.
I like the cactus. It reminds me of your other artwork.
Yes, it does. It does.
Maybe it's that.
So you are, okay, so Frida is often, I think, lumped in with the surrealists, and I think that's a shame because I think the surrealists were stupid and Frida was pretty smart. The surrealists were like 14-year-old boys, you know? I know that hurts everybody. I know that everybody freaking loves those guys, but I do not. But Frida was really touching the kind of like the real ideal of surrealism, the kind of the spiritual, the mystical, the magical, all that stuff, you know? And so the feeling of this, I think, is nice. The clouds, the greenery in the back, you know, all a little too real, you know, so like kind of transitioning into some sort of trance state or a spirit state, you know. And then the painting of her face, it's like carnival creepy, sort of. You know?
Uncanny Valley.
It's uncanny valley like. Yes, that's a better word to use. Yeah. What do you guys think? I'm talking about.
Blended very nicely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing I would say is maybe what you could probably do is maybe fill in that gap under the neck. You know, just kind of very easily. You can do it with the clay. You can do it with caulk or something. You know, and fill that in so that there's a smoother transition for the suspension of disbelief is a little bit, I think, better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that would help. You might also consider some things that are kind of you know, you've got foreground, which is all this sculptural stuff, and then you've got background and middle ground that kind of all condensed together. What about like far background? What if there was like maybe carved into for certain things in the far back?
Well, you put holes into it for the clouds.
Yeah,
Really nice.
exactly. Something like that. I know that you have other plans. You want to tell everybody what the plans are? I think they're crazy, but tell them all.
That's how you know you're a real artist.
Yeah,
Make your art to go.
yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy because it's going to be crazy expensive, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was here.
That- ooh, yeah.
Tell them what you want to do.
Okay, so well, first of all, I want to explain the materials that I used.
Okay.
So basically, this thing was a lazy Susan.
The Lazy Susan. Oh yeah.
You almost close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lazy
so
Frida.
I had several of them. So
Okay.
this one I didn't really like it because it was too big and it didn't spin. So it was just had like another piece attached to it, glue it in the bottom. So I glued it off and I kind of sanded it. But I never used it, and it was just sitting right there in my apartment. And I was like, I need to do something. I don't want to throw this away because I'm one of those persons who likes to keep stuff.
Yeah.
Like obsession for boxes, right? And so I feel like I always can make something ordinary to extraordinary.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then so that's why I picked it. And the other stuff that I have is those porcelain flowers right here. Specifically this one right here.
Yeah.
Except the three in the middle because I made those.
Okay.
And I just had them over there in my display cabinet, and I was like, it was just like very cluster of flowers. So I decided to pick the most beautiful ones to actually cut them because they have like a little stand right here, and I actually bought a little tool that cuts porcelain, right?
Yep.
So you can break it. And then I was like, well, okay, and I was like, well, what can I do with this? And basically, I came up with Frida Kahlo, right? I was like, big flowers, something round. Well, let's see what can I do. And so basically, I started working on the vase with the clay, and then I was thinking about the background as well, and I just came up with this landscape, right, with the clouds, and then this one creates like an impressionistic texture of cactuses in the back, right? So in the foreground, I just put the more detailed cactuses, right, to make it look more like you said, like the foreground, middle
Right.
background, right? But so it kind of, it kind of gives you like a different perception of what you can see in something flat, right?
Okay.
I was trying to make something flat, but then I decided to bring these ordinary objects to make it look more extraordinary out of the normal or typical traditional flatness
Gotcha.
of art, right?
Okay.
And it's just actually I left this little gap right there because I was gonna put a necklace.
Oh, to cover it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I was like, no, I think it's gonna be too cluster, and I just left it like that.
Okay.
It's a great idea. I'm gonna
Smooth
smooth
it
it
out.
out and kind of smooth it with the other part.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So.
Tell them what you want to do now.
Yeah. And then, I actually was doing research about the glue, right? And I asked the professor about what kind of glue can keep my items attached to the wood, right? And I'm still like afraid that
It's gonna fall.
Yeah, it will fall and break all this stuff.
Yeah.
And right now it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's super heavy. I was like, okay, and I was walking, right? I actually walked to school, right? And it's like, I'm getting so tired. So this is my crazy idea. So I want to just keep it forever, right? Of course. And I don't want any dust to kind of go through the flowers and stuff like that. I don't want it to discolorate with the time. So what I was planning to do is that, I want to, set it flat, and I'm trying to buy one of those molds that kind of embraces all the perimeter of this circle, and then I want to fill it up with resin, like at least maybe 6 inches or 7 inches above the surface of the hummingbirds, and then after it dries, I want to kind of like have like polish it all around and make it like a half spherical shape.
Yeah.
And then I want to like sand it and then make it look like it's like crystal. And then I'm also thinking about the prices of the resin. I know it's super expensive.
It is.
And
For a very small amount.
and then I wanted to put it in something like and it's gonna be like an installation like sculpture that kind of spins.
Yeah,
you're
lazy
turning it back
Susan.
into a lazy Susan.
It's a Frida snow.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's just an idea that I
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
You know, I'm still thinking of all the prices.
This
you know,
is this
very
is when you get a benefactor.
Yeah.
People pay for it.
Yes.
And then, and also I was
Benefactor.
like, what if I just leave it like that and I
People
put it in a
don't
knit
need
sole,
it.
right, or something like that can hold it instead of putting the rings or something, the hooks or something like that.
Okay. Okay. So that's all possible. You can do that. All the things you said. I think you're gonna have to make the mold and not buy one. I don't think it's gonna be ever perfect, and I think you're gonna have to learn a lot about how to polish resin because that's entirely possible too. You just use varying grits of sandpaper all the way up to like 7,000 grit. They make that actually, and then you use polishing compound, and it will take a while.
Yeah.
It will take a shitload of resin, and not only that, if you want it to be clear, you got to buy the highest quality stuff, which means that's even more expensive, you know. And learn how to make it without bubbles.
Yeah.
The
that's
bubbles
what
are
I was
gonna be the your enemy here. I mean, there's ways to do it, and actually Jeff downstairs can talk to you about ways to do that because they do.
Oh yeah, they did a thing that was sitting there for a while.
Yeah, that's the
That
vacuum
little-
pump.
Oh,
Oh no,
never
well,
mind. I was talking about like a square
that's
of
correct.
resin.
Okay, yeah. He did
Yeah.
that, and he used the vacuum pump to pull
To-
it literally pulls the bubbles out of the wet resin, and then you can pour it in, and there's no bubbles. So you can do all that. The kind of resin I'm thinking of is about $150 a gallon, though.
A gallon.
Yeah, and that's going to take probably
7 gallons.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Again, find your current day Medici and have them pay for it, and then you'll have to sell it to them, and then they'll donate it to a museum, and then you can go and visit it. That's your plan.
Go visit and you spin it.
It's
It'll also be
$1,150.
much heavier.
Yes. It's a little heavy.
It's like $1,150 without
Yeah,
tax.
make it,
You just figured that one.
make it the next art installation.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Wait, so
Actually,
what
a
do you
company called
call-
Total Boat is what you should look into. Total Boat. They make resins and foams and stuff for boats. So,
Benefactor.
benefactor. Like the Medicis.
Manufacturer. Benefactor.
You
Wait,
are.
so if I wanted to
Comments.
make like a big giant sculpture,
Yeah.
I
So
was thinking this the other
seriously,
day,
this
but
is-
like seriously, I
Sell-
want to do
sell-
that.
Sell your idea.
I already have the idea.
So
Sell it to them.
well,
I want to
you-
keep it.
you
I
don't
want it
sell
to be
your
my
Here's
idea.
what you have.
No,
Here's
no,
what-
no,
Shush, shush, shush,
Here's
shush.
what
We're not
happens.
arguing. No,
Here's
I'm
what
kidding.
happens. So you guys know, you guys all know who oh, if I can think of his name, freaking the guy who put the dead shark in the tank.
Yes.
What's his name?
Shark Tank?
British-
Oh, I mean,
British.
I'm sorry.
Shark Tank.
I was like, I didn't know what you were talking about.
The artist is named the British.
He's a guy, and it was the dead
I
shark.
definitely know his name if he's British. I definitely
Oh,
know
I've
his
seen
name.
that art.
What's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
little
and he did.
one?
He also did the cow skull and the case with the flies and the.
I have no idea.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about with the. You never saw the shark?
No.
It's called The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. I know the name of that freaking piece, but I can't remember
Wait, you
his.
know what art is?
Oh,
What's that? Damien Hirst. God.
Hurst. His last name is Hurst.
Damien Hirst. Hurst.
Hurst.
With a T. Damien Hirst. Okay. Charles Saatchi is his benefactor. Charles Saatchi is this advertising magnate in England, right? And he is famous for being also an art collector. He gave Damien Hirst just money to make stuff. you know?
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to him.
Yeah, and with the idea that some of the work, if he likes it, it's his, kind of a thing. And it's like the Medicis did this, just like the way the Medicis did it. How they would hire artists to make the work, and that's the surviving work that we know of now, right? All of his work is expensive to make. I mean, he did that diamond encrusted skull. That was $5 million in just materials. So,
I have a giant idea
Okay.
that I want done, but we can continue.
We're talking about grants. There's grants too. There's all kinds of things. This isn't expensive enough for you to get a grant for, frankly. I mean, that $1,000 or so is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things when you're talking about your whole body of work, right? But if you have a piece that's going to cost $5 million to make, you usually can't front that as an artist unless you're Jeff Koons, right?
Oh yeah. So they'll keep it.
Well, okay.
They may keep it.
Maybe, but often it just goes. Especially those people like Charles Saatchi or like.
They give you money to make it, then they make money off of it.
Sort of, but
you
also
have it
they also
existing.
donate it to the museum often. That's what Howard Rachowski has done in Dallas. So all of his collection, when he dies, goes directly to the Dallas Museum of Art. Now often it's on loan at the DMA anyway. If you notice beside the tag, often it says on loan from Howard Rachowski or on loan from the Rachowski collection when you go and see a show at the DMA.
But he made it, not the artist. The artist made the idea.
Well, the
But
artist
still,
still gets credit, but it's on loan from his collection.
Yeah.
But that actually improves the pedigree of the artist too, though.
Yeah.
When you're in the collection of Rachowski, that's like a big line on your resume.
Yeah.
It's a total like.
I have a
symbiotic-
giant idea.
Like how giant?
Giant, and I want it to be chrome.
Okay.
I like silvery chrome.
You're gonna have to hire people to make it then, right?
Yeah.
Fabricators, like Jeff Koons.
I'll make a miniature version of it.
Okay, good. Anyway,
Yeah,
this is
sorry.
what you'll do. We're off the topic. What do you think about the idea? What is that gonna do? What?
I wonder if like it being solid resin is important because I feel like you could make a mold that's just the surface and then have it hollow,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if like it actually being poured in and like being a solid thing is important too.
Making a dome.
And
He's
to
talking
preserve.
about basically a domed vitrine instead of resin, which is entirely possible.
I thought of it too, but
You like the idea of it being?
it's on the list.
It will look slightly different.
Yeah.
The two ways look different. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to look at an artist named Jim Hodges. Jim Hodges.
That sounds familiar.
I told you him last time, I think, for your other award. He's shown at the DMA a few times, and he's in the Rachowski collection. Oh, somebody else, but I've lost it now. What other thoughts about this piece?
With your necklace idea, how you want to add a necklace, I feel like that would be cool before you decide to resonate. If like you had accessories that you could interchange out, like you could take the earrings off,
Yeah.
I
put,
mean, yeah,
put
no,
different
like,
necklaces on,
It- you know,
That-
those
yeah.
are genuine, like really nice earrings. Actually, I'm just like, you should make more of those. You should like have a little side hustle, and just like start making
I
jewelry.
mean,
It
know.
resonates
Gotta
with
fund
me.
the
That was a good
Thanks, Dad.
one. You're welcome, son.
So you know, a
des-
few things
oh.
though too about this is that you're talking about an icon, and that I think that is important for us to talk about too because she's such an icon and such a Mexican icon that, in a sense, it's become like ordinary. Like you can see it at any like tchotchke shop or whatever, in Puerto Vallarta, the shirt that you're wearing, it's like she's become a commodity,
Yeah.
like the Virgin Mary or something, I mean, like
Yeah.
kind of like almost the same in a way,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's something there. I don't know exactly what it is that's there that makes this the extraordinary versus the ordinary and all those things that are in there. The way you have molded the face looks very, very like 1920s, 1930s, like puppeteering,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing, It has that sort of look, which is like a very distinctive look. And it's like anachronistic because it really looks like it's from that time. It almost looks old, It's kind of cool too. I'm thinking like French puppets,
Mhm.
they're like kind of
Little creepy
kind of
things.
creepy looking, but also like I like to look at it. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Oh,
Those things.
so there's a Dallas artist duo. They're named Chuck and George is their artist
Oh.
duo. But they're the Brian and Brian. And they're partners. They've been married for like years. Brian Scott and Brian Jones. can you think of the two like most like Brian Scott, Brian Jones, like the most normal names ever. Their entire house in Dallas is literally on the Dallas Art Tour because their house is filled with their work and other artists' work, and it is this kind of thing, like it's like sensory overload to go in their house. Brian Scott, Brian George, you should go and see their house at some point. Oh, they asked me to do they said that they would love for me to bring a class there.
Oh my gosh, that could be us. We're your favorite
I
class.
will text
Your
them
only
this
class right
afternoon.
now.
I will text them this afternoon and see if we can go there.
Yes,
couple weeks.
that would be magical.
That would be so magical.
It's so magnificent.
Okay, now there's a lot of really explicit
That's okay.
things.
We are responsible.
Okay.
We've
What-
talked
what
about
does that
sex
have to
already,
do?
Dad.
What's that?
What does being responsible have to do with it?
You're responsible. Yeah, so I just have to warn you, there are some things that might shock you.
That's also true. Like,
What'd you say?
Adjacent.
What'd you say?
He said we're adults. I'm like, are we?
Are we? Yeah, I ask myself that too. I sometimes walk into class and think, where are the adults today? Who's in charge? Not me. I mean, I'm
That's
50
funny.
years old. I don't feel like an adult.
childlike
I
still.
got spooked.
Yeah.
You don't look
Today's,
50.
Well, thank you.
fireworks went off.
Welcome.
I don't feel it either.
That's good.
I'll give you 35 lives.
I only take allergy medicine. That's the only medicine I have to take.
That's really good.
Any adult to your adult.
All right, sorry.
You
we-
take less medicine than me.
All right, so yeah, you got to look at the Chuck and George. That's their since they actually went to UNT and they formed Chuck and George back then in like '96 or something is when they were here, and it's perpetuated. They are Dallas famous. They're like, oh, in their Halloween party.
They have a Halloween party.
Yes,
I love Halloween.
Same.
I hate Halloween, but I will.
I like dressing up. I like dressing
I
up.
hate dressing up, but I will dress up to go to the Scotts, the George, the Bryans. Jeez. I will dress up to go to the Bryans' house.
Should I
Very
go to the
minimally,
Halloween
but I'll
party
dress up.
too?
Ours.
The texture on
Alright.
your hair is the hair that you did is
Oh, the
nice
texture
too.
of the hair is
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
I like how it still all feels painterly because
I-
it's the painting.
Again, it really feels like the way that like 1920s puppets would have been painted. You know.
It was a little hard painting with acrylics because the ceramic or clay can absorb
Absorbs it.
paint
Mhm.
more faster than oils.
Did you seal
Put a-
it with the shellac? Did you do that?
First,
Yeah.
when it was white,
Uh-huh.
I sprayed with the shellac, but after I did not because it looks shiny already.
Yeah,
And I was like, I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, acrylics are more shiny after they
Mhm.
get drier than oils.
Yeah.
So I left it like that.
Okay. Yeah, that looks totally shiny enough. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I was trying to make the hair a little bit more detailed,
Yeah.
thinner lines, but it just that.
It wasn't behaving right. Okay. I think a little fluid medium in your acrylics would have helped. If I've
I
been in-
thought of it, but I just had water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like 4 a.m. and I was like trying to finish.
I was not there at 4 a.m. Had I been, I would have told you to get some fluid medium. All right, thank you very much, Victor.
Alright.
Okay, that's it for everybody. Thank you guys.